Hello, Justin. Um, let's start with how old you are.
I am 22 years old.
Awesome. And what interests do you have in general? Like, what interests you the most?
I have an interest in television. That's what I want my career to be. I like sports. I like baseball specifically and football. Um, I don't know. I like doing fun activities with friends. I don't like drinking. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And how did your interest for film/directing come about?
Well, back when I was in high school, I was recording like all of our football and basketball games, and I actually got started with that my freshman year by a weird coincidence of someone introducing me to someone. And so I continued that throughout all 4 of my years. But in my senior year, I got associated with someone who was doing like live event directing, and I would do camera work and what's called technical directing for that. So that really started my love for directing.
Awesome. So, after saying that you like directing, would you consider that to be your favorite aspect about film?
Yes, yes.
Passionately. That's awesome. Awesome. So, do you have a special person you look up to in your film career?
Yes. Like, do you mean a famous person or someone more local than that?
Either.
My boss for the Milwaukee Brewers, Darren Anderson, is a great director. So I look way up to him.
Awesome. And who inspired you to go into film? Just the person at high school?
Yeah, that's really what changed my course. I always wanted to be an engineer before that, which is interesting because a lot of television stuff at the news stations that I'm interested in is in a category called engineering. But I always wanted to be an engineer, and I was deterred by the amount of math that was involved in the engineering, and at the same time as I was getting deterred by this, I started picking up an interest in the television type stuff, and that's it. I just ran off with that.
Awesome. Sounds great. So, you have an internship with the Brewers, and you also do school productions and stuff like that. How do they play into one another?
Well, so I interned at Miller Park in 2014, and then I was hired on in 2015. So, and I also work in creative services at the university. So, um, I guess those two, they don't really necessarily relate, but a lot of the things I learned at Miller Park end up influencing what I do at Parkside. For instance, we have a switcher, so I can do directing stuff of like our commencement ceremonies. So like a lot of the directing techniques I learned at Miller Park, I use them here. Some of the visual things that I see people doing at Miller Park, I use them here. Most notably, in early October, I would say that I started experimenting with a new transition in Adobe After Effects to use in broadcasts, and that's all because of Miller Park. So the things I learned there, it influences Parkside in a good way because I'm the university videographer, so I can pass those things down to here and make our programs better.
Awesome. That's really cool.
Thank you.
What does your job with the Brewers consist of?
Well, as an intern, it was a lot of everything, but this last season in 2015, I'm typically the Brewers in-game video editor. I do camera work. I do replay playlists. I do some instant replay work. I can play things back. I can play videos back. I train interns. I don't know if I said I run cameras, but I can run every camera that we have in the stadium. I run robo cameras. I can do stat stuff. I do a lot of different things up there.
You spent a lot of time there this season. I've seen you.
Yes.
That's awesome.
76 games, I think.
That's a lot. I couldn't imagine the hours you racked up being there.
It was awesome.
What are the hours like? What time do you go in and usually get done?
If the Brewers, the first game of a homestand, if the Brewers are playing a 7 o'clock game, I would be there at 4 because I coordinate the setup of all the cameras because the interns set up the cameras and I, of course, help. I don't just watch, but they set up the cameras and I make sure that we have all that stuff done. So that's 3 hours before a game. So that's from 4 o'clock until like 15 minutes after the game is when I leave. So 10:30 or something like 9 or like 10. If the Brewers then win that game, we're going through the series now. If the Brewers win that game, the next day I would be there 3 hours early because a highlight video needs to be made for that game. And the intern makes the highlight video, but I as the editor, need to be there while the intern is making that video. So, yeah, that's another 3 hours before. If the Brewers lose, the flexibility of being the editor has no call time, so I can get there an hour and a half before the game when everyone else has to be there like plenty time earlier than that. So.
Gotcha. Did you do the job the intern does now, the 8-4?
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of can relate to all his pains.
All his pains
Is
and
it very,
questions.
It's like intimidating being in that spot?
In the intern spot?
Yes. Opposed to being in the editor spot.
Sometimes it is. I mean, like, working with someone like me, the intern wouldn't feel intimidated, and I'm not saying that to be funny, but, like, some people are jerks, of course, and they feel like the intern's just there to serve them. Go get me a hot dog or something like that, and those are the things I hated about that internship.
That actually happens.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it happens a lot. Like my boss, Darren, he would ask, like, to go get him a bride. And it's okay when he asks because Darren's always busy. He's busy directing. But then the camera people start asking and stuff like that. And interns can run cameras too. So then you start saying, well, why am I servicing these people? And that's one of the things that got really annoying. Like, and I just never passed that down to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one thing I would say, we have there's a press conference at the end of the game by the Brewers manager, and the RoboCam operator needs to control that. But a lot of times we're short-staffed, and since I know how to run a lot of things in the control room more than most people, I would say, there are games where if we're short-staffed, I'll be running 3 different jobs during the game, but then I'll also be responsible for RoboCam because that's like one of the other jobs that's there's a hierarchy of jobs that are unlikely to get filled if we're short-staffed, and I can manage all the control room positions that are unfilled. So, like, someone once said, "Why are you staying and running RoboCam and not making the intern do it?" And I guess I don't look at it as an intern task where, hey, you're the intern, so you need to do this little thing. I don't look at it as the way I got treated and needing to reflect it off of that. But it was a fun internship, so don't get me wrong. It was very fun. It's just some annoying aspects of it.
No, absolutely. Which I think a lot of people can say that with a lot of their internships.
Certainly.
Which I guess I'll figure out once I start mine. I guess this plays into what are some of the disadvantages and advantages of interning with the Brewers or working with the Brewers now?
There's plenty on both sides. The advantages, I would say, obviously Miller Park is a really cool place to work, and I get a lot of experience. I would say I learned more the second year than I learned in my internship because I was trusted to work different things than I could work during the internship. So I was able to learn more of the engineering side of things. It's a fun place to work. There's cool people that work there. There's opportunities to learn stuff, opportunities to interact with like people like Bob Euchre, and it's just really cool. There's disadvantages of working there too. There's very little opportunity to work full-time ever. We have 4 full-time positions in my department, and it's not possible to work those full-time positions. So, like, you have to worry about that. It's only half of the year, so if you're really relying on that income, which it would not be a good situation to really be needing that income, you've only got it for half the year, so that's one of the drawbacks. Another one of the drawbacks, I would say, is sometimes the culture there makes it hard to get new things done. Like, the people in my department don't necessarily like to try new things when you have a good idea, or they don't strive to make things all that better. I guess I would say. It's sort of a dangerous line to even talk about.
Do you have a
but,
lot of like ideas that you want to pitch and?
Yeah, but they don't get listened to. Get listened to by some people, but the people who could really do stuff about it, like one thing is, so we produce on Sundays. We produce this broadcast for the channel Telemundo, and we direct it in our control room. Our cameras listen to two directors, and we shoot two different broadcasts. What's going on the video board and what's going on Telemundo. You've made it on Telemundo before, but so there's lots of ideas that I have about making this better. And my boss listens to the ideas, but he doesn't ever enact any of the ideas. And at the beginning of the season, the last season, there was an idea that was very practical that my boss had acknowledged was practical. And I got sick of asking about it, and then we just decided to do a work around that where we didn't even have to go through him and we just solved it ourselves. So that's how things sometimes have to work.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, I think I have one final question for you.
Okay.
And it is, what is your career goal with film, and what direction would you like to go with it?
I would like to be directing. It's a difficult road to directing because that's one of the higher level positions, well, obviously. But I would like to be directing, and I would like to start out in news somewhere or sports, doing perhaps lower things that would get me up to directing. So everything is directing based with me. It all aspires to be a director. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
So, I guess one final
Yes,
question.
certainly. There could even
Just
be two.
two. Okay, I just thought of this. How does, like, with your film and stuff, it plays into communication and stuff? Does it help with your classes? It helps with, formally communicating with other people? Like, tell me how it goes.
Yeah. And I didn't think there would be, but the communication as a director, it's all about when you're directing. It's about what you need. You need to tell the people that are working for you, I need this shot. And you don't need to be nice about it, to be honest. I mean, you have a desire and you need to get what you're looking for. And you can start to attribute that in the many things in life that it almost changes you of, because you don't want to be playing games. Like, a good example would be if you knew of someone that you really wanted to date, instead of beating around the bush and being like, we should hang out or something like that, maybe you would say, I want to take you on a date, instead of just like, I don't know. It's just changed a lot of things when I think about it, because I'm more direct about stuff. Interesting that I would use the word direct, but yeah.
That's funny. Awesome. Thank you for your time. It was a
You're
really great
welcome.
interview. You gave me a lot that I need.
Excellent.
So, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.